And today I am in conversation with Ingo Schulmeyer. And I hope I said your name right, Ingo.
It's perfect, yeah.
Listen, if you are wondering how to create a life on your terms, how do you create true financial freedom? How do you live life truly on purpose? That feels rewarding. That feels like it's a life worth living. We're going to be discussing that right now. So stay tuned. If you ever wondered, how can I create freedom, live a life of passion, and live life on my terms? And that's why Ingo's here. We're going to have this conversation right now. Ingo, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Business and Wealth Show. Listen, I just want to say welcome.
Yes, thank you, Meg, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're most welcome. Let's get started here. Usually on these shows, I ask people about their entrepreneurial background. What happened? How did you become an entrepreneur or do what you're doing now? You know, you're not working for a boss or anyone. You're doing what you want to do. What is the backstory?
Yeah, so actually, it's a long story, or I can make the story short, but the story spans over many years. Yeah. So I wasn't an entrepreneur for many years. I was working for more than 15 years in the semiconductor industry as an engineering director and product management director. And yes, I was always successful in chasing my goals, and yeah, I was also financially successful, I would say. But it didn't really fulfill me there. But I also had this. I always had this blocks or this limiting beliefs that I thought, okay, I don't want to do my own stuff because, I depend on the money, on the paycheck at the end of the month, right? And I thought I cannot quit my job and do something else now because I have to feed my family and my kids, and so I thought it's not possible. And and then like 3-4 years ago with the pandemic, we were really, as a family, we were really not so happy with the situation anymore in Europe. So also with the school of the kids and my wife's job and my job, and sitting only at home with the Zoom meetings, right? So we decided as a family, we said, okay, let's do something completely else. Let's just sell everything, and we moved to Mexico. We sold our house, our cars, and just took the family and the dogs and moved to Mexico and started traveling here. With the idea to find a new place here, right? And find also a new life here. And this was really like a freeing process, right? Because it was really, I told you before, I had these limiting beliefs all these years. But once I made this cut there, and once we were standing at the airport with all the luggages that were left, it was not there anymore. It was really like, we felt really free and good. And sure, we had some savings and everything, so we didn't really worry about anything. But and then we started really this process and looking into entrepreneurship. So I think that's basically the story. So we traveled in Mexico for 9 months. We did nothing. I think it was a great time also for the kids. They learned on the street. They learned from the people, we didn't stay only in the tourist resorts, right? We traveled really
around
rural Mexico and met people there and got along there. So
real adventure for the whole family. Look, for a lot of people, whether they're employees or whether they're business owners, that is a pretty scary proposition, that I'm going to leave the safety, the security of what I have, and I'm going to go into the unknown. How did you and your wife create this mindset that, hey, it'll be okay? What happened? Because some people, it would be terrifying for them to leave something that they're not enjoying.
Right. First of all, and this may be more the rational explanation, right? I think you were talking about safety and security and risk perception, right? So, and I think maybe our life that we have today with our 9 to 5 and our house and our cars and our Netflix abo in the evening, it looks secure, but it's if you think about it, it can also a lot of things can happen, right? There can be medical issues, there can be issues with your job. Now we're facing maybe eventually some economical issues, so it's not that safe. And if you think about it, what happens at the end of your life, if you're looking back and you need to think if everything made sense that you did it, and if that's really what you want to do. And then, I mean, time is limited, and considering that, it's maybe, yeah, even that it looks safer. I mean, safety is maybe, I mean, at least for me, it's not the highest priority, right? I think
Yeah.
if you have a growth mindset, you want to develop that. Now, what we did was, what was more maybe a practical advice, was we shifted a little bit our perspectives on what we did, right? Instead of thinking, okay, we're burning all ships down and we're leaving everything behind, right? And there's no way back. We just thought, okay, I mean, what's the worst case that can happen? So we said, okay, the worst case is, I mean, we have some money, we have some savings. The worst case that will happen is we will go to Mexico, we will travel here for 1 year. And in 1 year, if we don't like it, okay, we go back to Germany, to Europe, or anywhere. And we're looking for new jobs, and we continue to do the same stuff. And then, like, the worst case scenario is a 1 year vacation. So it doesn't sound so scary anymore, right?
True. And 3 years later, you've been still traveling and still enjoying your life and still able to do your business from wherever you are in the world. Right?
So actually, we are not traveling right now. We were traveling for 1 year. We found a nice city here. We're here since, now a little bit more than 2 years now.
Yeah.
We also bought a land here. We're building a house right now. I hope soon, like in 1 or 2 months, we will moving into our new house. We thought, because of the kids, because our kids, I mean, when we left, they were like a little younger. They were like 10 and 12. Now they're 11 and 14. So we said, at least, for teenage kids, they need some stability. So we said, okay, now we'll stay at least till they go one day their own ways.
Yeah, that makes sense. You haven't looked back. You created the life you wanted to do. You can work remotely, like you're saying. The initial fear, once you hit the brakes and just went for it, subsided, went down. You figured out that if the worst comes to the worst, you can go back to where you were anyway, and you haven't looked back. And so, how has the family taken to that? How has everyone settled down to this new way of living compared to the one they had in Europe 3 years ago?
Yeah, I think for the kids, it was quite an adventure, and I think they enjoyed it. I mean, of course, before we left, they felt sorry and they were sad that they have to leave their friends. But since we're here, I mean, they experienced such an exciting thing. And I think they learned more on this 1 year on the street than they would learn in whatever, in 3 or 4 years in school, because I mean, not the stuff they teach in school, just the stuff about real life, right?
True.
And now, and then we're traveling, and I mean, it was beautiful, but it's also like a very intense time, right, for a family, if you're having one SUV and all the luggage, and 4 people and 2 dogs in the SUV, and in the evening you're staying in the same Airbnbs all the time. So when we arrived here in this city, actually, and then we found a nice school. It's like it's also an alternative school. It's, they spend a lot of time in nature, and we met a friend here, and they had their daughter in the school. So we said to our kids, okay, try it out to see what's going on. And then I think after the first day at school, they came back and they said, okay, we will stay here.
Oh, wow. Wow.
We as parents, we said also, okay, it's maybe good to have some distance sometimes between kids and their parents. So we said, okay, let's stay here for a while. And that's, we're still here.
You're still there. I've been an entrepreneur for over 24 years now. And in my first business many years ago, after a few years, the business wasn't working. It was taking over my life. I was overwhelmed. I was stressed. Same as when you was working 15 years in corporate. I wasn't enjoying it anymore. And there's one day I just had this breakdown in my car, and I'm thinking, why am I doing this? What is this all about? I'm over 100,000 in debt. I can't pay my bills. I'm hardly at home. I'm working 19 hours a day, 20 hours a day. I'm not seeing my wife. We've got a young child. And all these thoughts started going through my mind. And later on, through personal development, reading different books on success and ways of living and balance, I started changing my life. It was through coaching, mentoring, reading books, going to seminars. That really helped me. And to turn my business around, and in less than 2 years, create the financial freedom that I was really looking for. I wanted to spend more time with my family, with my children, and my young children. And so that was a journey for me. What was the catalyst for you? I know you said it was, the lockdown situation in Europe didn't help. The COVID situation. But what prepared your mindset to say, "Hey, we're going to be okay"? Is it a process you went through, or you just woke? I know you're an Iron Man. I know you are a strong. You must be to do an Iron Man. You must be strong physically. You must be strong mentally. So I just wanted to understand the process in case anyone's listening in and thinking, "I'm going through these big challenges. How do I overcome that?"
Yeah, I think that's a great question and a great point to discuss. So for me, yeah, I think it's a mindset, and I think I have this mindset that things will work out for me, and I think that's important to have this belief, right? Maybe it wasn't for many years about entrepreneurship, but it's the same mindset, right? You just need to shift a little bit perspectives. But yeah, if you have this mindset that you will figure it out along the way, I think that's working. And for me also, I mean, I'm doing personal development since more than 20 years, right? Since I'm like a 20 in my early 20s when I started studying, I'm reading these books. I think what helped me also is in the last years more and more, I got this instead of reading more, or consuming more, I start to disconnect more. And I think that's also something that's helping me because it helps me to understand myself better. And I think that's the most important part if we want to really find our own true purpose. Because I think in today's time, we have a lot of input, right? Basically, there's all the information available that you want to get. You want to start a business, you will find a book, or you find a YouTube guy, or you find anything. But yeah, it's basically information overload, right? So I think, and also it influences our values and our purpose because we hear all of this stuff from our friends, from family, from social media, right? And we think, okay, we have this idea of how a successful life should look like, and we think it's our own beliefs, right? But they're somehow strongly influenced. So for me, it helps more and more to disconnect, and this can be meditation or spending time in nature. So like I'm going to walk a lot with my dogs and do this really consciously, right? So leave the phone at home and just like disconnect. I think that's something that really helped me.
Yeah. Okay. I want to hear more about disconnecting. So do you have a morning process? Do you have an evening process? Or is it just a way of life you've chosen, just consciously just disconnecting more? You mentioned meditation, you mentioned going for walks in nature. But how can someone who, if they wanted to learn how to disconnect, which if we look in the Western world, if you like, most people are programmed by media, social media, TV, radio, and newspaper. They live their life as if it's real, as if that is the norm. You've taken yourself out of that and said, actually, we want to live this kind of lifestyle. So how can someone begin to start disconnecting so they can get to the essence of themselves and and have that self-awareness of who they are and what they should be doing on this planet?
Yes. So first of all, I would like to say, I mean, social media, I don't think it's completely bad, right? I think that it has a lot of positive aspects, and I'm using it, of course, also a lot. Also, all the technology that we have available today, I think it's great tools if you use them in the right way, especially, like you can basically work from anywhere in the world today, right? That's one of the advantages why we can be here in Mexico, for example. But yeah, I mean, I think it's about building habits and start to becoming aware of what we're doing. And this can be, you mentioned morning routines. I do usually meditation in the morning, so I stand up doing meditation. I also usually not switch on my phone in the mornings like I did when I was like a engineering manager. So then you have to like first thing is emails in the morning, right? So this starts the day very reactive. So now I don't turn the phone on for the first 2-3 hours. And and then usually I prepare breakfast and go out with the dogs. So and then by 8 o'clock I started then getting to work. So I think this routines is one thing, but the other thing is also doing all the daily things just more conscious, right? And this can be like washing the dishes or something, or eating, or So because we often have our cell phone all the time, right? We're eating,
Yeah.
we're checking the messages, we're checking the Twitter, we're checking everything. We're washing the dishes, the television is on, and so on, right? So, and I think if we, just to do things more consciously, and this doesn't have to be, you don't have to do it like 24 hours on the first day, right? It's just starting getting aware when you're doing things, how you're doing them actually. Then, this is the process. And I mean, I'm also not completely free of that, right? I'm also sometimes addicted to the news and to the social media.
But it's a practice, right? It's a practice.
Yeah, it's a journey and it's a practice. Yeah, we're all there and we're all on our way. Everybody is somewhere else on their way. So
definitely. Yeah. Tell me, how do you help people? Let's talk more about your work presently in terms of helping people create the lifestyle they want or creating financial freedom and living life on their terms. Do you have a process? Do you, how do you approach it?
Yeah, so I have a coaching program where I'm helping people. Usually it has to do also a lot with mindset. I start with mindset work and especially about what we talked about, limiting beliefs or past traumas that we're rolling up. And because usually the beliefs are formed in our early childhood, right? And we carry them around. Maybe we're not even aware of them, but so we start there. And then, we're looking into ways how their process look like. And what I'm doing is it's called transformational coaching. So I don't have like a template that applies to everybody, like, right? It's not a one size fits all solution, but I'm just basically asking questions and we're going into each client's own solution. And and then it starts also, what do they actually want to do based on their purpose? So we're looking for ways how to become entrepreneur, for example. Because today, if you look on social media, you see all these guys they're telling you, well, okay, you need to start a YouTube channel, or you need to start podcasting, or you need to copywriting, or digital marketing, or whatever. So, but you need to do something that you really like, and you need to build your own brand and your own passion. And this requires that you really have a good understanding of what yourself and what you do. And it's like, and you build your vision not only for yourself, but also for the company you want to build, right? And that's the starting process, and then you go step by step, and then later on in the process, it becomes more to a plan, like from the understanding of the where you are, where you're coming from. You say where do I want to be, and then you can make a concrete plan how to get there.
Absolutely, and that's what people, and that's what you guide them through in order for them to. So I love that. One of the things I've said for years, often some people say, live with passion, do what you're passionate about. And I say, well, that's fine. But at some point, in my experience, passion soon dies down. But what's more powerful than that, I found, is living life on purpose. What am I supposed to be doing? What is it that brings me to life? What is it that makes an impact to other people? What am I here to be doing as a human being? And I think when you have purpose and it's fueled with passion, I think you become unstoppable. But I love what you said at the beginning of our conversation, which is really about that self-awareness. Who are you? What do you love? What turns you on? What brings you to life? And I think your mechanism of living in a way that you're unplugging to get to the essence of you is so critical. It drives you to the true purpose of you, fueled on passion, and and then you can live the life you really want. So I love that. Thank you for that. So tell us about how the Ironman, that physical endurance, has helped you to become the person you are today.
Yeah, I think that's also something very important. And that's
before you say that, for those who don't know what an Ironman is, tell them what Ironman is and how grueling and intense it is. Then tell us how it's helped you.
Yeah, the Ironman is actually a long distance triathlon. It's 3.8 kilometers. It's, I think, 2.6 miles swimming, 110 miles cycling, and running a marathon in the end. So 26.2 miles, right? Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm thinking in kilometers. So it's a
Yeah.
little, I
I
think
think
it's 20.
25.2, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
42
42 kilometers running.
42 kilometers. Yeah.
And it's a one-day event, and yeah, it's a challenge for body and mind. And I did this over many years. I love doing endurance sport. I love also running. Running is kind of meditation for me. Going on the bicycle for long distances. So yeah, that helped me also build a lot of habits that I have today, like for example, discipline. Because it's not only, I mean, it sounds scary, this event, right, of the one day of doing the Ironman. But it's actually not this one day of doing the Ironman. It's more like the long preparation phase before, like it's 6 to 8 months before you have specific preparation where you have to train every week, like between around 15 hours on the bike, in the pool, running. And yeah, and it teaches you about discipline, and you think about what you really want and why you're doing that. Because I mean, if you live in Germany and in the winter it's snowing or raining outside, and you need to go out with the bicycle and you don't want it, but you go anyway, I think that helps you also to build this discipline. Because actually, because what you said, because of a purpose and combination of purpose and passion, because you want to reach this goal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Fantastic. Listen, you knowing what you know and having made some big decisions in your life, like doing an Ironman is a big decision. Having a family is a big decision. Moving from Germany to Mexico and set up a life is a big decision. And you've made those big, bold moves. How can someone listening in create a lot more success in their life? What does it take to create more success in life and in business? I think maybe the same principles apply.
Yeah, the same principles apply, and you're talking now about decisions, and it's exactly that, right? I mean, we have to do decisions every day, and whether we make it or not, we make them anyway, right? Either we make them actively and we decide I want to go in this direction, and we shape our future, or we don't make them, then they're made for us. Then it just means I stay where I am and I'm not moving, and which is also a decision, right? We need to get aware of that we're making this decision anyway. I think making decisions is important. And the other thing that I learned over many years is also that, I don't care so much about goals anymore. I mean, goals are important. They're like a lighthouse, right? Especially the long-term goals. They're showing me in which direction I want to go.
Yeah.
But I think it's much more important to celebrate progress over like achievement of the goal, right? So if I make every day like small achievements, that's much more important than like looking all the time for this goal that I have in 1 year or 2 years from now.
So to celebrate all those little successes,
right.
all those little wins. Right. So celebrating the progress as opposed to waiting and waiting and waiting. I love that. Do you know why? Because a lot of people won't celebrate their successes because they think it's too small, and but not knowing that all those small ones is what creates a big one down the line. And if they're not celebrating those small ones, the big one will come and they'll look at it small and not celebrate that anyway. So I love that. Celebrate the progress. Fantastic.
And actually, it's not only the wins, right? It's also if we make failures, because we made progress. We learn from that. Of course, it doesn't always feel good if we fail in something, but yeah, in the end, it's a learning process, and it's our next step forward, rather than if we do nothing or if we. So there's no win and no loss. I think in the long term, we need our wins and our losses, and there will be always wins and losses.
Yeah, I love that. Fantastic. Ingo, for those who want to learn more from you or follow you or get some advice from you, what's the best what's the best way to do that? I noticed on my notes here to send them to your YouTube, or is there anything else?
Yeah, I think the YouTube channel is good. I have a YouTube channel. There's also a website where I have blogs and basically also all the videos and also description of the coaching program. But the YouTube channel is good. And by the way, my brand name and also the YouTube channel is called The Small Reset. And it's exactly because what we are talking right now, right? And I was inspired by this idea. There's all these big guys that are talking about the great reset that we need for the world. So I thought it's okay, the great reset. Okay, maybe it's better if all of us or if many people like start to work from themselves. That's more like a bottom-up solution, right? So, And if we do have our small resets and working on ourselves each day and start to improve ourselves, so if enough people are doing small resets, we will also make a better world, right?
Small resets. I love that. So it's youtube.com/@the-small-reset. So if you type in "at the small reset" in YouTube, people should find that, right?
Sure. Right.
Excellent. Very good. Very, very good. I'm going to come back to you for any last words in case there's something I should have asked you, I haven't asked you. So in a moment, I'll ask you that questions in case there's something on your mind that you want to share with us. For those of you listening or watching, doesn't matter which platform it is, remember to like, subscribe, remember to share this video as well, this audio. So also, the algorithm loves engagement. So give us a like, give us a thumbs up, give us a comment, make a comment in terms of what you picked up from Ingo here and what he's been sharing. And also tell your friends, link other people into it. So I want to say thank you for watching, but let me go back to Ingo. Ingo, anything I should have asked you that I haven't asked you that's important for our audience to know here?
No, I think it was a great conversation. Thank you so much for allowing me being your guest. I think, yeah, the most important thing is try to be yourself, try to disconnect and find yourself. And yeah, I think that's the key.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly, doesn't matter who you are, where you are, work on self-awareness, discover who you are and live from that point. And live from a place of what makes you feel good and happy. Come from that place rather than being dictated as to what job you should do, what business you should do, what you should be going here, what not going here. This place is too dangerous, don't go. Live on where your heart takes.
And just before because you mentioned happiness, I can finish with a quote. And the quote, I really like it, is: happiness is a place to come from, not a destination.
On that note, Ingo, I love that. Thank you. Thank you. I love that quote. And so I want to say to everyone, well, I want to say to you, first of all, Ingo, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing so much wisdom from a very deep spiritual place, a purpose-driven place, which is very, very important in the age that we live right now. So, so important. So everyone listening in and watching, thank you for taking time to watch and listen. Remember to share. Remember to make comments as well. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, and continue building your business. Continue living a life that you desire and you deserve. Mac Attram and Ingo. Bye for now. Thank you, Ingo.
Thank you.
Okay.